The delegation in Georgia is really a very traditional ICSC operational delegation, and we deal with the consequences of three armed conflicts that took place in the 90s and in 2008. So much of what we do is core mandate activities. We visit detainees, we bring families together, we facilitate movement across the boundary lines, and we have ECOSEC and WhatsApp activities for the conflict-affected population. The reality is, unfortunately, that the consequences of the conflict are still acutely felt, and thousands of displaced persons have lived in what was meant to be temporary accommodation for more than 20 years, and people have lost access to land, livelihood, and contact with family members. Moreover, there's the issue of social inequalities that affect also sort of this context, and which is very noticeable, and a poverty level of nearly 25%. So combined with the conflict, the impact really is significant. What perhaps sets the delegation apart, and where we've seen a lot of progress in the past years, is the work for the families of the missing. There are still 2,000 persons who are unaccounted for from the South Ossetian and Abkhaz conflicts, and their families have very little information about their whereabouts. And I would say that anyone who has been to the Caucasus will know what this means. To be able to bury your dead ones, to visit the graves and commemorate your next of kin. Last year, we really saw a big breakthrough on this file with the exhumation of a grave in Park Slavi, where 64 unidentified human remains were buried in the 90s. So far, out of these, 13 have been identified and handed over to the families, who, after decades, were finally able to bury them as they wished. We think that more identifications are underway. And this breakthrough with Park Slavi also meant that the coordination mechanism, which is chaired by the ICSC and which deals with these issues, moved ahead and reached agreements on other big graves that they want to exhume here in 2014. I do think that the meetings with the families have been the most touching moment here. It is a humbling experience to meet with them, to see how this absence of a loved one still impacts their life. And this ambiguity of loss is something which is shared by these families, and the ICC works with local NGOs to provide psychosocial support and break the isolation and create networks for these families. It has been very important for the delegation to raise the public awareness of the family's situation, and the delegation has met with basically any interlocutor who cared to listen, and we've tried to explain why the families deserve their attention and why this issue must be protected from the political rhetoric that surrounds this conflict or these conflicts.